Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Whether or Not. I'm your host, Stuart Dougherty, joined by my co-host for this week, Dana Osgood. Dana, I'm excited to be hosting with you for this week's episode. We both had our first midterm exam for cloud physics last week, and I'm grateful that it is over. How are you feeling, Dana, and what will your nature and the news stories be on this week?
Overall, I'm feeling pretty pleased, but also glad that it's over. And for this week, my nature in the news stories will be about horseshoe crabs and parasitic wasps. How about you, Stuart?
Well, I didn't think wasps could become much worse. This week, I'll have a story about poisoned bald eagles and about recently cool historical digs. We will also have our forecast from our sweetheart, Jimmy Wendolek, and a feature on ski resorts and climate change from our own Caroline Castora.
And with that, let's get into nature in the news. Scientists recently decoded that was once believed to be one species of wasp was actually 16. The species, called Ormyrus labotus, was believed to be a type of parasitic wasp that lay their eggs in other insects. Typically, wasps only lay their eggs in one or two different species of insect, but these wasps were observed to having up to 65 different hosts. This and their ability to make different colored egg sacs, called galls, made scientists very suspicious. They tested the wasp's DNA and ended up finding 16 genetically distinct species. Scientists involved in the research said there could be two more species, but they did not have enough conclusive evidence for these two. The discovery was then published in the Journal of Insect Systematics and Diversity. Scientists say no one had been researching gall wasps and their hosts for over 50 years. Therefore, there could be even more variations of Ormyrus labotus out there. Identifying the wasps is very important because different species require different pest management to keep the ecosystem healthy.
The bald eagle is America's national symbol. It came back from the brink of extinction in the early 70s and off the endangered list in 2007. However, the birds are in trouble again. In a recent study, 48% of eagles sampled between 38 contiguous United States have tested positive for lead poisoning. Lead is a neurotoxin that even in low doses impairs an eagle's balance and stamina, reducing its ability to fly, hunt, and reproduce. In high doses, lead causes seizures, breathing difficulty, and eventually death. Over 1,000 eagles were tested between 2010 and 2018. They had their blood, liver, wings, and feathers tested. Scientists estimate that lead poisoning has led to a population decrease of around 4% during the 9 years of research. The research also showed higher concentrations of lead in bald eagles during the fall and winter months. Scientists believe hunting plays a large role in the poisoning. Lead bullets kill deer and other wildlife that are hunted. When the bullets penetrate the skin of an animal, it shreds into shrapnel. This shrapnel in the carcasses, if not taken by a hunter, may end up being eaten by a bald eagle. This is not the first time lead bullets have been an issue. In 1991, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service banned the use of lead bullets on waterfowl due to lead contaminating the fresh water. Scientists do not want to ban hunting, but rather communicate with the hunters to change the type of shots that hunters use.
Horseshoe crabs are in a bit of hot water. Scientists are now debating whether these curious creatures truly belong in a category of their own. University of Wisconsin-Madison scientists are beginning to believe horseshoe crabs belong in the same family as spiders and scorpions. The paper, published in the Journal of Molecular Biology and Evolution by Prashant Sharma, has caused considerable controversy in the biological community. Improvements in genome sequencing, which can help scientists build family trees, encourage the rethinking. The new information believes that various branches of arachnids evolved from their common ancestor earlier than expected, and that horseshoe crabs were another branch in this family. The previous conclusion was drawn from only fossil data. Scientists say it is hard to tell when the transition from sea to land for other arachnids took place, which is why they categorized horseshoe crabs as their own species. This discovery encourages further debate within the scientific community to see if they can replicate the results from this paper and to see where horseshoe crabs truly belong.
Digging. It's the best part of being a child or a dog. On the Isle of Skye, PhD student Amelia Penny discovered the world's best preserved fossil. The fossil was a pterosaur or pterodactyl. Pterosaurs were the first vertebrates to fly some 50 million years before birds. They lived as far back as the Triassic period, about 230 million years ago. They were previously thought to have been much smaller during the Jurassic period. This discovery competes with Mary Anning's prehistoric Jurassic fossil discoveries on the south shores of England in the early 19th century. The fossil had feather-like bones as thin as sheets of paper, and it took several days to cut it from rock using diamond-tipped saws. This cutting occurred as a team of scientists were fighting the tides of the seas around Scotland. This was not the only discovery, as a team of French and Jordan archaeologists found a 9,000-year-old Neolithic shrine in the eastern deserts of Jordan. The shrine was found near a desert kite. These kites were theorized to entrap wild gazelles. The kites are made up of two walls that converge, making a mini animal pen. Scientists believe that the first people of the settlement celebrated their hunts at the shrine.
Hello, I'm student meteorologist Jimmy Wendolek here with your Central Pennsylvania forecast, taking you through the last weekend of February and what a roller coaster of a weekend it is going to be. Looking at the end of the work week on Friday, low pressure system moving through the region will bring a variety of precipitation types into the Commonwealth. Mainly rain down to our south, sneaking into the southern tier of the state of Pennsylvania. Mainly snow to the north, could see some decent accumulations in parts of New York State and even a couple inches across the northwest plateau of the state of Pennsylvania. But the real interesting part of the system will be coming through right through the heart of central Pennsylvania, where we could see all four different types of precipitation throughout the system, mainly coming in the form of sleet and freezing rain, which will make travel quite dangerous as you head out and about for Friday. That system does clear the state in time to start the weekend on Saturday. Mix of sun and clouds, but chillier conditions here in Happy Valley, with high temperatures dropping down to around freezing, which is about 5 degrees below average for this time of year. Mostly sunny conditions carry over into the day on Sunday, and high temperatures do rebound a bit as well, back up to around average for this time of year, but we do also see the winds increase as we head into the afternoon. For the full weekend forecast, high of 38 degrees on Friday as we were dealing with that wintry mess across the state. Could see some dangerous travel conditions throughout the day, but the precip will mainly be concentrated in the morning, so it should be starting to clear out just in time for you to head out to a Penn State basketball game on Friday night. Low temperature of 19 with those clouds beginning to clear. We continue to clear out for the day on Saturday. Mix of sun and clouds, high temperature right around freezing at 32 degrees. That clearing continues into Saturday night. Clear skies, but also chilly with a low temperature of 23, so make sure to grab a jacket as you head out and about. High temperatures do rebound slightly for the day on Sunday. High temperature of 38, right around average for this time of year, with mostly sunny skies. That's it for our Central Pennsylvania forecast. Next up is a feature on climate change and ski resorts.
Climate change is happening, and winter sports may take the brunt of its effects. Specifically, ski resorts, who are fully dependent on snow and cold temperatures, might struggle to have an open season at all. So for all my ski lovers, should you start worrying about the slopes? East Coast skiers understand the frustration of bad quality ski conditions. Icy and patchy snow simply doesn't compare to fresh powder when it comes to winter sports. But is this the new normal? Resorts everywhere rely on snowmaking to supplement natural snow throughout the season. It can help boost the longevity of ski seasons, dipping into early autumn and spring by helping the existing snowpack. However, this has its limitations. Resorts are working hard at finding solutions. Analyst intern for Eagle Point Ski Resorts and avid skier, Luke Turkovich, explains how changing weather patterns are affecting resorts everywhere.
Every year it seems like things are just shifting around a lot, and it's really difficult to predict snowfall with any good degree of accuracy. So one thing in particular that's come up is adding a lot of snowmaking equipment, which for a resort in Utah, you might not think is something that would be necessary, but in order to get the slopes open early on in the season, if there's not a lot of snow, we've had to add the infrastructure for snowmaking. So that means water lines and then actually pumping out all the snow. And then also just generally, thinking about how we develop out amenities and making sure that they're going to be suitable for really 4 seasons, and where that goes is a huge priority because, we can't just think about the winter season nowadays anymore.
If resorts fully adapt to all 4 seasons, they might be able to weather the changing climate. But the problem is, it's almost impossible to predict what resorts will struggle the most each season. This past year, East Coast resorts struggled with above-average temperatures and a lack of snowfall in the beginning of the season, while areas in the Rocky Mountains had a later than usual first snowfall. On the other hand, the Pacific Northwest was bombarded with heavy snow. Resorts and slopes should be prepared for any variable thrown their way and shouldn't expect to have a concrete season opener each year.
I grew up skiing with my family, and we would go to a small resort called Seven Springs, which is just outside of Pittsburgh. And there always used to be snow pretty much the whole, starting at the end of December. But I wasn't able to ski at home with my friends over winter break at all because it just hadn't snowed. And it does seem like every year there's less and less snow to be had, even out west. We had to cancel a trip a few years back because there just wasn't any snow, and we were like a week away from our flights, and we were like, well, nothing's open. There's really no point. So it's definitely been interesting to see how these increasingly dynamic weather patterns have changed the snowfall and how much terrain can be open at the ski resorts.
Combined with the unpredictable snowpack, COVID restrictions have also been taking a toll on the winter sports industry. An overall lack of employees at resorts worldwide is also stressing business. An article by Protect Our Winters states that by 2090, over 80% of resorts won't open by Christmas Day, which is a popular time for skiing. Turkovich is optimistic that skiers will adapt and overcome.
We as Americans or humans will find some way to, combat that, whether that's putting more in resorts that are farther north, maybe up in Canada or something. I'm sure we'll probably find a way. 2090 is a long way off and a lot can happen between now and then, but some of these places are getting, parts of Alaska are getting hundreds upon hundreds of inches of snow that, and you're skiing down glaciers. So I would doubt that it would be maybe obsolete in, 60 years, but, obviously hard to tell. It's not something that I've really done the research on, but I definitely think that if the trend continues that, just less and less snow makes it tougher for resorts to stay open and be as profitable, but they'll keep charging you $200 a day to ski. So
change is necessary for winter sports to survive, but it's a matter of if we want to change our habits to combat climate change or change the ways of ski resorts. Reporting for Weather or Not, I'm Caroline Castora.
Student meteorologist Jimmy Wendolek back with your extended forecast, taking you through the first week of March. But first, we have to recap the last weekend of February. A wintry mess for the day on Friday as a low pressure system moves through the region, bringing some dangerous sleet and freezing rain to Happy Valley. High temperature of 38 degrees, right around average for this time of year, but the low drops all the way down to 19. And that chilly night on Friday is going to be preceding a chilly day on Saturday. Mix of sun and clouds with that high temperature below average in the low 30s, but the high temperature does go upwards as we move into the day on Sunday, back to around average at 38 with mostly sunny skies to end the weekend. And as we move into the first week of March, flip those calendars, temperatures start to march upwards. Below average temperatures with sunny skies for the day on Monday, and then watch those temperatures climb over the next 4 days. Above average on Tuesday and Wednesday, reaching the mid to upper 40s for the back half of the week. But temperatures aren't the only things that will be climbing next week. Sunny skies on Monday, but then we watch that cloud cover increase as well. Partly cloudy skies for the day on Tuesday and Wednesday, mostly cloudy skies on Thursday, and overcast skies on Friday as we watch a potential storm system move into the region. That's it for our forecast. Next up is your Whiz Quiz answer.
Thanks, Jimmy. And here's your Whiz Quiz question. The highest temperature recorded for the month of February occurred in what year? A, 1936, B, 1968, C, 1998, or D, 2017?
And the answer is D, 2017. A fun little hint on the almanac if you're paying attention.
It's weird to think how recent that was. In fact, I was a senior in high school then, getting ready to graduate onto big and better things. And here I am now, hopefully ready to graduate for this upcoming spring. Happy 5-year anniversary for the high temperature, Dana.
Thank you, and best of luck on graduating this spring. And with that, that's all we have for this week's Weather or Not. But be sure to tune in next week for more from all of us here. Have a great night.